block of concrete so light it can float on water. You can cut it with a handsaw just like a piece of timber. You can even drive a nail into it with ease. This isn't a material from the future. It has existed for over 100 years. It is used in 60% of new homes in Germany and 75% in the UK. India is building 60 million homes with this material right now. But in America, this concrete is almost completely invisible in building codes. A concrete block that can withstand 2,000-degree fire for 4 hours without failing. Meanwhile, standard timber-framed homes in the US collapse in minutes. Look at this house in Florida, still standing after multiple superstorms. Everything around it was flattened, but this structure didn't budge. To understand how this is possible, we must go back to Sweden in 1924. At that time, Sweden was facing a severe energy crisis. Coal supplies were depleted and forests were over-harvested. The government issued new insulation standards that no material could meet. Dr. Axel Ericsson at the Stockholm Royal Institute of Technology found the answer. He combined limestone powder, water, and a small amount of aluminum powder. The aluminum powder reacted to create millions of tiny hydrogen bubbles. This mixture expanded like bread rising in an oven. Then, he placed it in a high-pressure steam chamber at 180 degrees Celsius. The result was a brand new material called autoclaved aerated concrete, or AAC. It contains millions of tiny air pockets inside a mineral compound called tobermorite. This structure makes it one of the best natural insulators ever created. Ericsson recreated what nature produces deep in the earth, right in a lab. The industry shortened it to AAC, but most people call it aircrete. However, there is a dangerous confusion between two materials with the same name. The first is industrial AAC, manufactured in modern factories. It is steam-cured for 12 hours and strictly tested for compressive strength. This is what Germany and the UK use for large-scale construction. The second is DIY aircrete, made from cement mixed with dish soap foam. People often make it in their backyards with a simple foam machine. It might work for garden walls, but is many times weaker than industrial AAC. This distinction is vital when discussing the safety of a home. When Germany builds 60% of homes with this, they mean industrial AAC. The structure of an industrial AAC wall is a true physical marvel. In a traditional timber wall, wooden studs conduct heat directly outside. Fiberglass insulation sags and loses its effectiveness over time. About 40% of your energy bill escapes through those thermal bridges. An AAC wall is completely different, with no gaps or thermal bridges. Millions of tiny air cells keep the temperature stable without ever sagging. The block acts as both the load-bearing structure and the perfect insulator. And since AAC doesn't burn, an 8-inch wall withstands fire for hours. Imagine a 2,000-degree fire attacking, yet the house stands firm. So why is such a good material excluded from the American Building Code? The answer lies with a massive force: the lumber industry. Open the International Building Code in the US, and you only see 4 approved materials. Those are poured concrete, dimensional lumber, masonry, and light steel. AAC is completely missing from this priority list. To be added, you need tens of thousands of dollars and years of testing. Even with testing, approval still depends on the discretion of officials. The American Wood Council represents over 80% of the national structural wood industry. They have dozens of full-time staff working exclusively to influence building regulations. Their data shows that these advocacy programs have generated billions of dollars in revenue. Meanwhile, AAC material has no lobbyists and no political representation whatsoever. It has no pre-established mortgage pathway or valuation models for insurance companies. Every part of the system is doing exactly what it was designed to do. A material that cannot be metered, needs no maintenance, and generates no recurring bills is an enemy. The current system does not need a material that lasts forever without producing repeat profits. Let's look closer at the internal structure of a standard timber wall you live in. The wooden studs running from inside to outside act as direct thermal bridges. They pull cold in during winter and push heat in during summer through your walls. The fiberglass insulation in between begins to rot or sag when exposed to high humidity. This creates gaps that allow air to circulate, rendering the insulation useless. In contrast, an AAC block is a monolithic structure without any thermal bridges. Billions of tobermorite crystals lock air molecules in place, stopping heat transfer completely. This is why homes in Germany maintain perfect temperatures with minimal energy use. Now, let's return to the story of the house in Plant City, Florida. The owner built a structure based on the principles of autoclaved aerated concrete. When superstorms swept through, high-velocity winds tore apart nearby timber-framed homes. But this house didn't shake, and not a single crack appeared on its surface. However, the paradox is that the owner could not easily get a bank loan to build it. Banks refused because they had no comparable data for such a unique house. He had to pay entirely in cash to own a safe place for his family. The financial system is set up to serve what is common, not what is best. Currently, AAC is certified to American material standards, but remains isolated. It is not banned, but it is excluded from the easy path in administrative procedures. To build with AAC, you need an engineer stamp and an official willing to review it. In some rural areas of Arizona or Texas, building this way seems a bit easier. But in major cities, the paperwork barrier is a steel wall that is hard to overcome. Materials like AAC create energy freedom, and that is what corporations do not want. It needs no termite treatment, does not rot, and doesn't need replacement every 20 years. If every house were that durable, the repair and maintenance industry would collapse. Dr. Erickson created a miracle from limestone powder and aluminum in 1924. He provided a solution that outperformed everything the industry was selling. Germany understood that, the UK understood that, and India is doing it too. But in the US, this material doesn't even have a seat at the policy negotiation table. That is not an accident. It is a deliberate design to maintain the consumption loop. A concrete block that floats on water seems like a defiance of common logic. But the logic of profit always runs contrary to the logic of long-term sustainability. We are paying for flammable houses with our own safety. Every year, thousands of timber homes are completely burned down in fires across the US. Meanwhile, in Europe, AAC walls still stand firm after similar fire incidents. The difference between life and death sometimes lies in a single layer of hydrogen bubbles. Why do we accept inferior standards when the solution has been available for a century? The answer lies in high-rise offices in Washington where building codes are written. Lumber corporations don't just sell wood, they sell a lifetime cycle of dependency. If you build an AAC house, you are breaking out of that cycle of dependency. You will no longer worry about massive heating bills or the fear of storms. It is time for us to question what is considered standard in construction. The system isn't broken. It simply wasn't designed to serve you. Beyond its fire resistance and thermal insulation, AAC possesses another superpower: soundproofing. The structure of billions of tiny air bubbles inside naturally absorbs sound waves. While timber walls allow you to hear every footstep or noise from the next room, an AAC home provides absolute silence, much like a professional studio. This isn't just about comfort. It's about quality of life and privacy. Next, let's talk about a silent enemy of American homes: termites and mold. The pest control industry generates billions of dollars annually from timber-framed houses. Wood is food for termites, and humidity provides the perfect environment for mold growth. But AAC is an inorganic mineral. It contains no nutrients for termites to feed on. It also has the ability to breathe, helping regulate humidity and completely preventing mold formation. In Japan, a country frequently facing earthquakes, AAC is a top choice. Its lightweight significantly reduces the load on the building's foundation and skeletal structure. When the ground shakes, AAC blocks absorb energy and minimize the risk of collapse. The interlocking systems and thin bed mortar create a flexible yet incredibly stable structure. Now, let's perform an economic calculation that corporations don't want you to know. A timber house might be 10% to 15% cheaper in initial construction costs compared to AAC. But look at the operational costs over the next 30 years of your life. Energy bills for heating and cooling a timber home will be double those of an AAC home. The cost of maintenance, termite treatment, and wood structural repairs every decade is massive. And most importantly, insurance premiums for a flammable house are always skyrocketing. If you add it all up, an AAC house is actually much cheaper after just the first 7 years. So why do major contractors in the US still prioritize building with timber frames? The answer is simple: speed and capital turnover. A crew can frame a timber house in just a matter of days. They are too familiar with outdated techniques and don't want to invest in learning new skills. Building with AAC requires higher precision and more specialized tools. The U.S. construction industry is like a giant ship running on crude oil, very difficult to steer. But on the other side of the ocean, China has become the world's largest AAC market. They use it to build megacities at breakneck speed with high energy efficiency. In the Middle East, AAC is a lifesaver against the scorching desert heat. People there understand that building with wood in 50 degrees Celsius sun is suicide. While the rest of the world moves forward with green materials, the US stands still. Lumber corporations always advertise that wood is a renewable and eco-friendly material. But in reality, clear-cutting millions of hectares of forest annually to build fragile homes is a disaster. AAC is made from the most abundant materials on Earth: sand, lime, and water. The production process of AAC consumes far less energy than traditional cement manufacturing. And most importantly, AAC can be fully recycled as raw material for new blocks. This is the true definition of a circular and sustainable economy. Imagine a future where your home is an impregnable fortress, where you don't have to worry about a wildfire spreading or a hurricane making landfall, where the value of the home does not vanish with the rotting of wooden beams. That is the future Dr. Erickson envisioned more than a century ago. We don't lack technology, we only lack the courage to change the system. These invisible houses need to be brought into the light for everyone to see. Your family's safety should not be traded for corporate profits. It is time for us to demand better and more transparent building standards. Stop believing the advertisements about the warmth and natural feel of flammable wood homes. Real warmth comes from the heat retention capabilities of tiny air pockets in concrete. And real peace of mind comes from knowing your home will last for generations. Autoclaved aerated concrete is not just a material, it is a suppressed revolution. Let's talk about another overlooked aspect: respiratory health inside the home. Timber-framed houses often use glues and pest control chemicals filled with VOCs. These volatile organic compounds seep into the air you breathe every day for years. They are silent causes of allergy and asthma issues, especially in children. AAC is a completely inorganic material, emitting zero harmful chemicals into the environment. It keeps the indoor air fresh and provides absolute safety for your family's health. This is vital, considering that we spend nearly 90% of our time indoors today. Next, let's look at the actual production process inside modern factories. Fine quartz sand and lime are mixed thoroughly into a liquid slurry in large vats. When aluminum powder is added, a chemical reaction creates billions of tiny hydrogen bubbles. The mixture begins to rise like a giant loaf of bread right inside the casting molds. These bubbles aren't just air, they are the primary weapon against heat transfer. After initial hardening, the concrete blocks are moved into a high-pressure steam chamber called an autoclave. Here, steam at 180 degrees Celsius creates ultra-stable tobermorite crystals. This is the same mineral compound found in volcanic ash and ancient basalt rocks. Its durability has been proven through thousands of years of the Earth's geological history. Yet, the U.S. construction system regards it as an unreliable alternative material. Building code regulations are, in reality, cleverly constructed economic barriers. They are designed to protect the interests of long-standing lumber manufacturers. These corporations fund studies that criticize the durability of aerated concrete. They spread misconceptions that building with masonry is expensive and slow. But they deliberately ignore that AAC construction technology has far surpassed red bricks. Large AAC panels can be assembled using machinery in just a matter of hours. It minimizes dependency on manual labor and reduces common human errors. Look at the modern high-rise apartments in major cities like Berlin. The entire perimeter walls and partitions are made from precast AAC panels. This makes the building lighter, uses less steel, and stays significantly cooler in summer. In the US, we are still fumbling with dimensional lumber and thousands of screws. This delay is not just a technological issue, it is a business culture issue. Corporations do not want to invest in new production lines costing hundreds of millions. They want to continue squeezing profits from their old forests and sawmills. Ultimately, the ones suffering the most loss and risk are the home buyers. You are buying an asset whose value decreases over time due to rot and degradation. Instead of investing in a sustainable legacy that can be passed down for generations, an AAC house is not just a residence, it is truly a safe survival shelter. It can withstand the winds of a Category 5 superstorm without any reinforcement. In real-world tests, rifle rounds cannot even penetrate thick AAC walls. This is a level of security and protection that timber frames can never provide. Imagine the peace of mind when your family sleeps in such a fortified fortress. You no longer have to watch weather forecasts with a hidden fear of storms. You also don't have to worry about cigarette embers or short circuits burning everything down. The fact that concrete doesn't burn is a simple physical truth, yet it provides immense power. However, its invisibility in the U.S. is maintained in a very sophisticated way. Architectural and engineering programs in the U.S. rarely mention AAC material. Technical manuals still focus 90% on wood and steel structures. Students graduate and repeat what they were taught, and the cycle continues. This is how an outdated system protects itself through successive generations. To break this loop, we need strong voices from the consumers themselves. When the demand for safe, energy-efficient housing rises, the system is forced to change. States like New Mexico have begun taking pioneering steps in encouraging AAC use. But to change a trillion-dollar industry, we need more than just new bills. It requires a shift in the mindset of millions of consumers being manipulated by ads. We have been programmed to believe that timber houses are symbols of coziness and tradition. Corporations have spent billions of dollars building the image of the dream home with lumber. But they never mention the sense of insecurity when hearing the wind howl through wooden gaps. They don't talk about the strong chemical odor from aging fiberglass insulation. The warmth they sell is, in reality, a fragile illusion against the power of nature. Let's look at the environmental aspect that the lumber industry always brags about as green. Large-scale industrial logging is destroying biodiversity at a terrifying rate. To get straight planks of wood, millions of hectares of primary forests have been leveled. In their place are poor monoculture forests, flammable and of low ecological value. The process of treating wood with toxic chemicals for pest control also leaves heavy scars. In contrast, AAC uses sand and lime, materials that are abundant and easy to extract. The steam autoclave process does not emit toxic gases or polluted wastewater. An AAC home has a lifespan 3 to 4 times longer than a typical timber-framed house. This means you are reducing the burden of construction waste on the planet. In Australia, lands frequently facing wildfires are starting to look toward AAC solutions. They understand that rebuilding wooden homes after every fire season is a pointless, costly cycle. AAC doesn't just stop fire from spreading, it protects the assets inside from high heat. A safe placed inside an AAC wall is more secure than anywhere else in a wooden home. Many people mistakenly think that building with concrete makes a home look dry and rigid. But the truth is, AAC can be shaped and decorated incredibly flexibly with simple tools. You can route, carve, and create intricate architectural details right on the construction site. The combination of stone's strength and wood's flexibility is a unique characteristic. Why don't you see AAC blocks widely sold at major home improvement stores? It's because the distribution system in the US is dominated by traditional material suppliers. They do not want to make room for a product that could threaten their existence. Transporting AAC blocks, which are heavier than wood, is an excuse for them to raise prices. But they deliberately ignore the savings in assembly labor costs. A house built faster means you escape having to pay rent sooner. The money saved from monthly energy bills can be used to pay off bank loans faster. AAC is, in fact, a tool to help you achieve financial freedom sooner than expected. Yet the mainstream media in the US remains almost silent about this material. You rarely see a home renovation show on TV mention autoclaved aerated concrete. Instead, there are endless shows teaching you how to fix the damages of wooden homes. They teach you how to replace rotted siding, how to spray for termites, or patch drywall. An entire economy lives off the failure and degradation of the homes you live in. If everything were sustainable, who would buy periodic repair and replacement products? This truth may be bitter, but it is the driver behind every current building code. We are living in flammable boxes because it's the best way to keep cash flowing. The journey to making AAC a common material in the US still faces many challenges. It requires pioneers willing to take risks to build model structures. Every AAC house that rises is a living testament against the system's imposition. When you see your neighbor not worrying about storms, you will start asking questions. When you see them paying only a few dozen dollars in electricity each month, you'll investigate. Community spread is the only weapon that can break the dominance of corporations. Remember, knowledge is power, and this information has been kept secret for too long. The system's silence before a life-saving solution is a costly wake-up call. We have the right to live in safe, sustainable, and economical homes. Don't let the invisibility of this material stop you from building a better future. If you are planning to build a small structure like a workshop or a garden wall, start with AAC. This is the best way for you to experience firsthand the magical properties we just discussed. You will see how easy it is to cut a concrete block with a simple handsaw. You will feel the incredible lightness when lifting a large block with just one hand. This direct experience will shatter any prejudices the system has implanted in your mind. Don't wait for building regulations to change. Become a part of the change yourself. Seek out local AAC suppliers and ask the hard questions to your contractors. Demand they justify why they refuse a material that could save your family's lives in a fire. When enough people speak up, the conservative wall of lumber corporations will start to crack. Remember the story of Dr. Ericsson in Sweden more than a century ago? He didn't wait for the world to be ready. He created a solution to force the world to change. America might be lagging behind, but you don't necessarily have to lag with that system. The future of construction isn't about returning to the past, but choosing the best of it. A combination of ancient engineering and modern technology is the key to survival. These invisible houses will eventually have to be recognized for their intrinsic value. Safety, sustainability, and energy freedom are fundamental human rights. Don't let electricity bills and insurance premiums tie your life to flammable wooden boxes. Look beyond what is advertised on mainstream television channels. Truth often lies within tiny air pockets inside a concrete block that can float on water. We have traveled a long way to understand why the world operates the way it does today. And now, the decision lies in your hands, the one holding this information. Will you choose to continue the loop or build a truly sustainable legacy? Your home is not just an asset. It is a declaration of your mindset. So, be the guardian of your own future instead of a victim of an outdated design. The world is changing, and smart materials are slowly stepping out of the shadows. Every AAC block laid is a brick for transparency and fairness. This 39-minute journey is just the beginning of a deeper search for the truth. Subscribe to the channel and share this video with those planning to build a home. Because every share is a blow against the system's deafening silence. We need a community of wise and courageous builders. Don't let the invisibility of this material become the invisibility of the truth. Ask questions, challenge old standards, and dare to do things differently. Thank you for joining me in this deep investigation of autoclaved aerated concrete. I hope you have gained a completely different perspective on the wall surrounding you. Always maintain a critical mind toward any information provided by large corporations. Because in the world of profit, the truth is often buried under layers of polished wood. True durability doesn't need to be loud. It lies in a solid internal structure. I will see you again in the next journeys of mystery solving. Stay curious, keep asking questions, and never settle for anything less than excellence. Autoclaved aerated concrete, the material saving millions of lives yet invisible in the US. A peaceful fortress in the heart of the storm is waiting for you to build. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as it was designed to. The only remaining question is, who does this design truly serve?